Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Stephen Justice. I'm here today on behalf of the Veterans Association. We're here to talk to you about a specific job career. Maybe some of you are interested in it. Maybe it's something that you might want to pursue. I know many of you here are spouses and active duty military that are getting ready to retire. And this is a great opportunity to take that degree that you've been working on, polish it up, and jump right into a career that is going to pay pretty well. Depends on the size of the unit that you get attached to, but most of the time you're going to start out around 60K. You're going to be giving back to the military family members and the military in the area, the retirees, the reservists, the active duty. We're going to cover all of that, whether you did 5 years or 20 years. It's going to be just an introduction into what we do. The biggest thing that I want you to take away is, if you don't take away anything else and you're not interested in it as a career path, I at least want to give you a little bit of the bare bones of what a Marine Family Life Counselor does, and what we also call it an Mflc, what an Mflc can offer to you. So not just taking the career, but when you hear the word, associating what it is that we do and what it is that we're capable of, and pretty much what our mindset is going into this career path. So I'll hit you with a quick fact. According to the Department of Military Affairs, suicide among veterans continues to be higher than the rest of the population. The highest suicide rate was among younger veterans, age 18 to 34. In 2017, there were 44.5 suicides for every 100,000 veterans in that age group. That is a very small age group. That is also a very small number and a very small look at military veterans as a whole. So we're talking about veterans, whether you did 4 years, 1 year, whether you just went to boot camp and you had some kind of medical issue and it kicked you back. If you did 20 years, 30 years, if you were a spouse, we're talking that 100,000 is a very small number when you think about the branches of service of Army, Coast Guard, Navy, the Marines, National Guard. They're all inclusive, and we're talking about 100,000 and 44.5 out of that. That's a huge number, guys. We can't afford that to be happening. So we've established America's population is full of veterans. Studies show that military personnel were more likely to report stress at work than in their family life. They don't want to talk about their family. Military veterans want to get the job done, accomplish the mission. That's what they're there for. They are there to accomplish the mission, and you're going to hear people say, oh, well, if the Marine Corps or the Army wanted me to have a spouse, they would have issued me one. So a lot of times you'll hear me say Marine Corps. Real quick, I will tell you a little bit about myself. I did retire from the Marine Corps. 20 years in the Marine Corps, I retired first sergeant, and I saw firsthand how influential and how correct the numbers are that I'm going to tell you today. People are struggling, all right? Society is struggling, even more so these military members, all right? They don't want to talk about the family issues that they're having, and there are issues. You've got to be the one to uncover them. These veterans are just too proud. They're too proud to ask for that help. They're not going to come up and say they're hurting. They're not going to say they don't have money to feed their children, even though they could apply for WIC. They could apply for things that would help substitute the financial problem that they've gotten themselves into. These military members have so many things available to them. They're just too proud to ask. And that's where our job as an Mflc kind of comes in. We can kind of look through the weeds. We can see somebody struggling, and we can kind of get them off to the side, maybe where they're a little less embarrassed. We can offer them just, hey, I want you to know that this exists. Is that something you're interested in? Why don't you get your wife? Bring your wife by. Bring your husband by. Bring your significant other by. Come by. Let's talk about it. Let me throw some options out there. See if you're interested. If you're not, we're staying. I'm wasting 30 minutes of your time. That's where that Mflc comes in. Getting the word out about help that's available. So that's it. Now, that is a wave top picture of what an Mflc does. Biggest thing they do, they listen and assist. All right? They listen to the problems and they assist where they can. They throw options. They're not giving people their money, but they're finding them financial assistance. They're finding them ways to help their family. They're finding them ways to deal with separation. All right? Whether everyone realizes it or not, I know everyone in this room is either a spouse or prior military, but A lot of the civilian world has no idea the amount of separation that these military members are going through. These military members are leaving their family for 6 months, 9 months. You come back a different person. And that's something that these families are having to work through. And that's where we kind of step in and we sit down and we're a mediator. We are that counseling portion of Marine military family life counselor pops in. All right. Now, I say Marine, but I will say real quick, I'll caveat, there's a lot of different names for what this is. I use military family life counselor because that's what it is here in the local area, and that's what we call it. However, I have heard it called a Marine family life counselor. I've heard it an Army family life counselor. I've heard people put a possessive word there. However, we're talking about just masses. We're going to share those resources. But biggest thing is we're going to work with the chaplain. All right? We're going to start to work with that chaplain or the local churches in the area. They love coming on base. They love getting to know the different military members. Their congregation is made up of military members, so they're always amped to come on and help out with ceremonies, help out where they can. They're not military, they're not chaplains, but everybody has one thing in common. They want to bridge the gap, and they want to try to put God back in these people's lives. So how do we incorporate God? So many people are quick to say, where was God whenever I needed him? Where was God whenever I was going through this? Where was God here? I will tell you the same story, and it's a story that I love to hear, and it's about the man that drowned. The man that drowned, the water was raising at his house. The sheriff came by. The sheriff said, hey, I know your vehicle's flooded out. Come on, get in. Let me take you up to high ground. Let me take you to safety. And he said, no, sheriff. God is going to provide. God is going to, he's going to save me. He's going to take care of me. Sheriff said, all right, if I can't take you, I'll let you go. Water got higher. Now the man was up on top of his roof, and the National Guard shows up in a boat, and they said, please, sir, we need you to get in here. It is unsafe. The water is going to continue to rise. Come on, we need you to come. The man still said no. He said God was going to save him. So, long story short, man drowns. Goes up to heaven and he meets his maker, comes face to face with God. And he said, God, why did you forsake me? Why did you leave me? Why did you abandon me? And he said, my child, I never abandoned you. I sent the sheriff. You turned him away. I sent the National Guard. You turned them away. Everybody that I sent to you, you turned away. And that brings you here. I provided. You were just too stubborn or too proud to accept the form of help. So, Hebrews 10:12, we must also consider how to encourage each other to show love and do good things. Where there is strife, there is pride, but wisdom is found in those who take advice. Proverbs 13:10. We need to help these families. We need to help them find a church home. We need to help them find a chaplain. We need to help them understand that not only will the counseling and all of these pieces come together and help heal that family, but God can heal many things. God can help. He can provide. If you only believe in him and you follow in us as children of God and us working together, encourage one another. We show that love. We do good things for one another. We extend that hand and help. We do what we can. We've got to stay away from that pride. And we got to use the wisdom that we have to assist others in not only finding God, but finding the peace that he wanted us to have and getting their families back together after all these deployments, taking care of all the problems. And even if we can't take care of the problems, at least providing guidance to try to assist. That is our duty. That is what we need to do. Whether we're an Mflc or just a friend or a family member, we must encourage. So, thing I leave you with, why? Better question, why not? Why not provide a service to those that have already given so much in payment of our freedom? These families have given so much. They've sacrificed a great deal of time on these deployments, different jobs that they've done. Some have sacrificed life and limb. Why not give back to them? That's my challenge to all of you. If you want to know more about this career path and it's something that you're interested in and maybe you're working on your degree, I'll stay after and I'll talk to you about anything that you want to know as far as the career progression and that side of it. It's like I told you, the biggest takeaway that I wanted you to have today is that this is a career. This is something that we would love to have any one of you pursue because you've been there. As a military spouse or a military member, you understand what these people are going through and you can help them, all right? You can be that counselor, just like the wonderful counselor that was God. You can be that ear that they listen, that listens to their problems and tries to push them in the right direction. So, here's some references. I'll leave this up after I conclude my class in the little 2 or 3 minute break between speakers. If you want to come up and write any of these down, these are all great sites that cover some of the information that was in the actual PowerPoint today. Some of the many talking points that I talked about today, all covered in here. Lots of great examples there. I leave you again with a huge thank you for the opportunity to come here and speak today. I know that y'all have a very busy schedule. This was just one of those things that is very close to my heart. You know, helping veterans, helping anybody through a hard time, being that person that can look back and say, I helped as many people as I could in my time here. And nothing beats trying to put someone in line with a path that's going to get them closer to God. So with all that being said, thank you for your attention. Like I said, I'll be hanging out after this if you have any further questions, but I hope you have a great rest of your day. Thank you.